Good evening, everyone. I was feeling a little nervous about sharing a room and a stage with Patti Smith, but I have to say Sandra Bloodworth is a pretty hard act to follow. So I'm Tina Vaz, and I love New York. I'm a member of the Municipal Art Society Board of Directors, and tonight I have the happy task of setting the stage for our second Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Medal honoree this evening. Yoko Ono is possibly one of the most famous and recognizable people on the planet. Yet few people may fully grasp the remarkable depth and breadth of her artistic career and her lasting impact on art, on New York City, on the world itself. So I think we can start to change that tonight. Yoko was profiled by the On the Spot video series that focuses on pioneering women artists. The series producers were kind enough to let us show this short introduction to an extraordinary artist, woman, and New Yorker. Let's watch. Go.
Yoko Ono. In October of 1971, Yoko Ono and John Lennon moved into their first New York apartment together. They sublet a two-bedroom at 105 Bank Street. Yoko's friend, experimental composer John Cage, lives next door. Yoko was already famous in New York underground art circles before she met Lennon. In the early 1960s, she had been organizing significant works in her loft at 112 Chambers Street. There, she presented the Chambers Street Concert Series together with Lamont Young. Visitors to her studios included Marcel Duchamp, Peggy Guggenheim, Jasper Johns, Robert Rauschenberg, and Osamu Noguchi, among others. Other spaces where Yoko performed her works included A Grapefruit in the World of Park, in an evening of contemporary Japanese music and poetry at the Village Gate, at the Judson Memorial Church, and The Stone at the Judson Gallery, as well as on the roof of her apartment building at 87 Christopher Street. In the years spent in the Village, during the early 1970s, Ono performs at Flux House Cooperative at 80 Worcester Street, a center for the experimental art collective Fluxus. On June 29, 1971, a dumpling party is filmed by Jonas Mekas. It shows Ono, a core member of the Fluxus group, along with Warhol, seated on the floor. Ono had the brilliant idea in 1971 of giving herself an unsanctioned solo show at the Museum of Modern Art. She is pictured as staging a performance in MoMA's Sculpture Garden, reportedly releasing perfumed flies from a bottle. She makes photographs of herself outside of the museum, carrying a shopping bag with the letter F on it, changing the word art. In 2015, MoMA gives her a real sanctioned one-woman show. She is one of the most important conceptual artists. And it was, in fact, Ono who wrote the lyrics together with John Lennon for their most famous activist song, Imagine. Imagine that.
It is now my honor to introduce Dr. Alexandra Munroe, who will be accepting tonight's Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Medal on behalf of Yoko Ono. Alexandra is herself a pioneer in the art world, having expanded our understanding of modern and contemporary Asian art as a curator, scholar, and author. Alexandra joined the Solomon R. Guggenheim Museum in 2006, where she is now Senior Curator at Large, Global Arts. She also founded the Guggenheim's Asian Art Council, a curatorial think tank that promotes a transnational understanding of art history with a focus on Asian art. As a curator, Alexandra has organized the first major North American retrospectives of several major Asian artists, including Yayoi Kusama, Daido Murayama, and Liu Fan. In 2000, she curated the first major retrospective on the work of Yoko Ono, with Yes, Yoko Ono at the Japan Society. Alexandra's exhibitions and catalogs have won numerous awards, including 4 prizes for Best Show from the International Association of Art Critics. Earlier this year, she was honored with the Japan Society Award. I am grateful to call her my colleague and friend. Please join me in welcoming Alexandra to the stage to accept the JKO Medal on behalf of Yoko Ono.
Really very beautiful. Looks like a disc. Can we play it? Thank you so much. It is a huge honor. It's one thing to speak about Yoko when she's getting the award. It's quite moving to receive it on behalf of Yoko, and I can only say that I'm sharing this with my dear friend Connor, who has worked with Yoko now for almost 2 decades. Of course, I share this honor with Sean Ono Lennon, with Kyoko, and with dearest Yoko, who is definitely with us and watching. So thank you, Tina, my friend and colleague. And I am definitely honored to accept the Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Medal on behalf of my great friend and soulmate, Yoko. She is a woman of the world. One might even say a woman of the cosmos, but she is also, at core, a true New Yorker. John Lennon once said, before any of that stuff that we just saw was more widely known, that Yoko is the most famous unknown artist in the world. Several of us in this room have fought long and hard to overturn that. And today, Yoko Ono is internationally recognized as an artist, a poet, and a composer, and an activist who has worked alternatively at the fringe and mainstream of culture now for more than 60 years. She was born in Tokyo in 1933 and has been a resident of this great city since the mid-1950s. And over, she has emerged like a phoenix rising from the ashes. And she is of the year of the Phoenix, as a forerunner of new art forms that all embrace the mind as a player in the act and experience of art. Yoko, among many other things, has been a forerunner of installation and interactive art since at least the 1966 show at the Lisson Gallery, London, where Yes, the installation Yes was first shown. That work presented a stepladder, common stepladder, that she painted white. And she invited visitors, one of them was John Lennon, who climbed the ladder, took a magnifying glass that was hanging from the ceiling to read in 3 tiny typescript letters framed on the wall, Y-E-S. John Lennon later said, you know, if it had said fuck you, I wouldn't have been interested. That optimism is what inspired John, and that optimism is what has inspired millions and millions of people around the world in these cryptic gestures that Yoko delivers. That optimism is very much New York. Her real medium is transformation. Her art is directed not at things, not at objects, not at the films itself, but at shifting consciousness, a faith in the mind's power to realize good through the act of visualization. She uses language, minimal, epigrammatic, poetic, to instruct us to dream, to wish, to imagine, and to think yes. Linguistic devices like paradox, anti-sense, and humor provoke mystery, and mystery in turn provokes us to question the nature of ourselves and then she asks for us to question the nature of the world around us and the conditions that shape us. Hers is really the first that defines itself as a social art that relies on participants to be completed in the mind, not just to be appreciated in the abstract, but to be actually made real and completed by us. Her long career producing poetry and scores, films and music, objects and installations is linked by this profound intent to seek and provoke questions and to engage all of us in that search. Now, as others have said tonight, here in the great city of New York, the sheer beauty and intellectual clarity of Yoko's art reminds us of the highest power of art, to shape our world, to make peace, and to overcome opposition. Yoko has made a huge imprint on New York. In fact, I ask you to imagine, can you imagine New York without Yoko? I cannot. She has created the great memorial to John that we know as Strawberry Fields, where she invited countries from all over the world to make a living landscape of peace that draws millions of visitors a year, that surrounds the beautiful mosaic with the word imagine in the middle, where people have danced and laid and slept and probably made love over the last 40 years in our beautiful Central Park. And in 2018, she worked with the extraordinary Sandra Bloodworth to create Sky, an underground mosaic mural of cloud-filled skies, one of Yoko's iconic images, for the 76th Street station right under the Dakota, where she has lived now for some 50 years. So we thank you, Municipal Art Society, for this honor and for helping connect Yoko's legacy with the great Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. You know, I was thinking about this. What else do they share? Sunglasses. I often think about one of Yoko's instructions. A dream you dream alone is just a dream. A dream you dream with others is reality. Thank you.